for a long time, I have campaigned and wanted and wished and longed for an arts program on ARL. You know, makers of film and theatre to come on and chew the fat, because I know four of us, and I do know that if we started it, we'd soon hear about all these other people that are doing it that we don't know about at this point. So get yourself a glass of something. It won't be hot now, will it? It'll be something cold. Get yourself a glass of something. I do hope the kids are in bed. Although tonight might be PG. Tonight might be. Or do you think we might have a bit of a PG-13 tonight? I think.
Can I just say it could be cold, but it goes down warm.
What, you drink?
Yes.
What's that? That sounds like.
Don't even ask.
That sounds like some Russian concoction.
It probably is.
Yeah, it sounds like a Russian concoction.
Yeah.
But yeah, joining us tonight, I was going to say in the studio, but he's virtually in the studio. We've got Alan Charles in tonight. Alan, how are you doing?
Blessed of the Lord.
Oh, we're going to need you louder than that, man.
Blessed of the Lord. You can hear me loud and clear?
No.
You can hear me?
Not hearing you loud and clear, no.
Paul's speaking loud for two of you. Paul's too loud, you're too soft. So if we do anything to our dials, we're going to lose somebody.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
That's better? Nice.
Yeah, that's better. So stay nice and close. And why is that? I'm going to lose my feed. I can't understand it. This thing is so temperamental.
Can we also share with everybody that before the show, we played a song, an Alan Charles special. Why Did I Get Married? The song. Why Didn't I Get Married? The song.
Oh.
We played it.
Oh, is that your song, Alan? Is that
one of the cast members, Maxine Brooks, wrote the theme song for the play Why Didn't I Get Married? So check it out. Like, subscribe.
And is it called Why Didn't I Get Married? Is that exactly what the song is called?
Indeed, yes.
Okay, so let's go to YouTube and look for Why Didn't I Get Married by Maxine Brooks.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Like and subscribe and just big up all things Mr. Charles. Well, Alan, as I was saying, I don't know if you were on screen at the time, that I've long since campaigned for an opportunity to discuss the arts with my fellow thespians.
We're not discussing the arts tonight. We got a thesis. Why didn't I get married? That's what we're here to discuss. Now, Alan does have a very good play that is going to be in a theatre near you, and Alan, we'll give you an opportunity to speak about your play. Tell us where it is, where everyone can find, but we're here to discuss the topic. We're not here to discuss thespianism tonight.
You've been told.
No, but
to be fair, Charlie, it is the arts that is bringing attention to this most needed topic.
Listen, Alan, I wouldn't have even given the comment credence by responding to it. No, sir. No, we are discussing
I have to show love and respect to because on Sabbath we had a wonderful time down there at the hub in Watford, and she was instrumental in making the program very delightful and beautiful.
Okay.
So
okay,
the hub in Watford, Pastor Fuller and the team down there, excellent ministry. If you ever get a chance, pop in.
Okay. See, so we're not here to discuss the hub. Why didn't you say that? Why didn't you jump and say we're not here to discuss the hub?
Can I shout out my friend Devon, who's listening?
Oh, you see,
to shout him out because I'm paying you no attention.
So if you want to, so we're shouting out to Devon. We're shouting out to the hub. Durban.
Yeah.
We're shouting out to Durban.
Yes.
We're shouting out to the hub.
Yes.
But we can't shout out to the artistic brilliance.
He was going to get round to it somehow.
Listen, the fact that Alan is even here, we're shouting out to his artistic brilliance. Yeah.
I'm not even wasting any more time trying to convince you. So, Alan, tell me, well, you're a playwright. How many plays have you written?
I've actually staged. This will be my sixth one.
6,
15 years.
right? 6, 50, more than 15. How many you said?
Well, okay, so I started in 98, but I took a break. So I would say
Oh.
20.
No, man, we count the breaks, man. We got to count the breaks.
Yeah,
Got to include the breaks.
See, if I say it's been 30 years, then I feel even more old and I feel even less achieved. After 30 years, I should really be the man.
But you are the man.
If it's any consolation, Alan, you're still looking as young and sprightly as you were then.
Thank you very much, Brother Paul.
You very much are the man. So why didn't I get married? Now, is that what inspired it? I mean, it's got a title very similar to the Tyler Perry movie. Were you inspired by that movie at all?
Well, 3 things brought me to this play. A friend of mine said to me, Alan, you need to write a play for single people, about single people, highlighting the plight and the challenges of single folks. I thought I did that in my other plays because I always address single issues in my plays. But she wanted one that was specifically, wholly, 100% for singles, by singles. But at the time, I was having a writer's block.
Okay.
And then Marcia Dixon and a few others wrote a book in 2020 during lockdown, Black Single Christian.
Right.
And in the chapter, one of the ladies said, Roni Henderson, I'm quoting her, she said, she's angry at the church for the high levels of single Black women in the church. Why? They were told, be good girls, become Proverbs 31 wives, get your education, get yourselves together, wait on the Lord, do not date outside, do not get into any kind of trouble, and your Boaz will come along.
Yeah.
Now in their late 50s, 60s, no husband, no children, whilst their other friends who left the church are married with children. So they're angry and upset at the church for, as it was, selling them a lie because the church didn't do its job in attracting more men into the church so they could have a fair chance of finding husband.
Is that really the church's job?
Before you jump in, so then Uma Johnson, who is not a Christian, an American,
Dr. Uma,
said the Black church has a vested interest in keeping Black women single. Why? Black women earn more money than the Black man, more educated than the Black man, so have more time and resources for the church. Once they get married now, those resources are less. And so therefore the church specifically and strategically keep the church feminine to keep men out because it benefits the church. And so I thought to myself, hang on a minute.
I don't know that I could get behind that as a strategy, that's actually the church's strategy. I can accept if you said that there was a bit of apathy and they're not doing enough, then I would say, is it really their role to do more? But say that they're actively, hold on. It's not going to work that way. Hold on. But then to say that they're actively got a strategy to say keep Black men out so that we can get more resources from the female, I think that's a stretch. Go on, make your point.
So it may be a stretch here, but inactivity is also responsibility, right? So when I've asked pastors and family life leaders, what you recognize that there's an issue in the church, 7 women to 1 man in the church. They know the figures. Okay, what are you doing? And every 2 months, every church has a campaign, right? In fact, this is the season of evangelism campaign in our churches, right? What are you doing specifically and intentionally to attract more men? Because obviously what you're doing now isn't working. Yes, we're bringing people in, but it's still the same 7-1. What are you doing specifically and intentionally to attract men, one, and two, to equip the men who are there for marriage? Because another argument from the ladies is that there is a man shortage in the church.
Yeah.
And the few men who are there are not ready for marriage, whether it be financially, emotionally, or spiritually. So they're saying man shortage, one issue, but
Yeah.
again, the men who are there are not manning up. They're not ready. So therefore, the church have to be held accountable for, one, not attracting men or even empowering the men that are there to step up so that the woman them can have suitable husbands. That's the argument.
So, see, yeah, is it 0745 964 2898? That's 0745 964 2898. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this now, because I was at a family life program, a family day program a few weeks ago, and they were talking about families and whatever. And someone got up and asked a question and said, what is the church doing for us singles? We have all these lovely family life programs, but we don't have enough singles programs, etc., etc., etc. And I think it was actually what's his name, Pastor Sam Davies, who's head of family life, or he's in charge of family life, or he certainly does a lot of workshops, family life type workshops. And he says, well, we do many programs on this, based on this. And what I'm struggling with, Alan, is that, is it really the church's role when they have a campaign to say we're going to target men? I can even buy your argument when you say there should be more intentional of the men that are there to equip them for adulthood, make them rounded beings. But I wouldn't even go as far as say make them fit for marriage. I'd say make them rounded human beings. Because are the women rounded human beings? They might be professional, they might be earning six figures, but that doesn't necessarily make you spouse material. You know, it's all well and good to say I've got a degree and I've got £100,000 salary, but does that make me wife material? I don't know.
So let's take one at a time, right?
Mm.
Do you, Elder Gray, acknowledge that there is a 7-1, 5-1, 6-7-1 ratio of men to women in the Adventist church?
Women to men, yeah. Am I elder because I'm old?
He wouldn't know.
No. Are you aware of that? Are you aware?
Yeah, I'm extremely aware. Yes, women to men,
right.
Women to men. Yeah.
Would you agree or admit then that is an issue?
Admit.
Let me explain why. Right?
Admit.
If the ratio is 7 women to 1 man, and if as Adventists we still apply the biblical equation of 1 man to 1 woman, what does that mean for at least 6 women?
That they will probably never ever have a partner, a life partner.
Okay, right. So Brother Paul, at least 2 of those women are contented and happy and sold out to be single, married to Jesus and the church, and they have no problem. They don't want a man, they don't need a man. They are fully
that seems to be what is said. That's not necessarily what is true.
Okay, well I'm being generous and saying
he's making an equation. He's making his equation. So if out of the 7, 2 are happy, you're saying still leaves 5.
Not 4, because one is married.
Well, okay, because one actually got a man. Yeah.
So now we have got 4 women in the church wanting to get married.
Yes.
Have feelings and desires wanting to get married.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay? Now, the few married men that are in the church is going to be put under excess pressure.
Yes.
If you can't say amen, you can say ouch. we're here talking real talk. You've got all these single women around you.
Yeah.
That's going to create extra stress. Agreed? Yes or no?
Agreed. Agreed.
Boom.
Disagree.
Possibly. I wouldn't say
No,
necessarily.
I would agree because the pool is an awful lot smaller. The pool is smaller. So if it is that you're outnumbering men 7-1, and then those men have got to be eligible to be a life partner. They have to have all of the requisite requirements of the woman to be able to make it into the group of eligible people. That does not necessarily make them eligible. And so it makes it an even wider issue. And then the question is, does the church have a responsibility to these disenfranchised women?
Mark?
Yes.
If there is a problem in the church, is it not the church's duty to solve that problem? Or
I don't.
And if we talk about family life, right?
Yeah.
Family life. Family life impacts the whole church and the whole family, and single people are part of the family.
Yes.
Family life is not just about husband and wife.
Yeah, no argument.
Right, but you're preaching to the choir. That's fine. But so I agree with that statement.
Right. So you were asking me, should the church be responsible? And I'm making my case. Yeah, I'm saying extra pressure is on the few married men in the church with all these single women out there. Boom. Right?
I don't think, and what I disagreed with was that it wouldn't necessarily, you might get a pool of 10 guys talking to them, and some of them say, I feel like I'm under extra pressure. But I wouldn't say across the board that just because there are 7 girls to 1 guy, that all the other guys that are not taken up are going to feel the pressure.
They're players, so they don't feel
you don't hear what I'm saying. I'm saying the few married men would be on extra stress and temptation with all this single energy in the house. That's what I'm saying.
Want to be tempted.
Right. Secondly, the married woman, look at the single woman with scorn and suspicion, because they don't want their husband around these single women. It's facts, bro. I'm not making up stories.
No. Hold on, Alan. You say that's facts, bro.
It is facts.
Right. That there are women that feel that way, yes. What I'm disputing is the fact that you're saying that because of this, of the disparity, all those women that are married are going to feel this way about those.
I don't think saying that.
Come on, I'm saying there is a problem, right? And the likelihood increases if there is that.
Now I'm with you. You're saying that there is a possibility that you could have this going on. So I'm with that.
Mark, come on, man. Mark, come on, bro. Come on. And this is why I don't like to have this conversation, because we're not being honest. We're not being honest.
But Alan, you can't say because I don't agree with you that I'm not honest. You can say this is what you believe, and I wasn't saying that you were wrong. I was saying that I was saying that I wouldn't say carte blanche that because one of the women are taken up with a man, you've got 4, all the wives are now looking scornfully at the other women, and all the other women are under pressure, or the men are under pressure. That can happen, but it doesn't always have to be the case.
As a man, I think you're unable to make that comment because.
But is Alan able to make his comment?
Yes, because
you agree with him.
No. I tell you why. It's not because I agree with Alan. Because you know what? Who feels it knows it. So you know what? It's even you know what? It's quite funny. I'm gonna make this comment, and I hope nobody's offended by it.
Well, it's after dark. If they're offended, they can switch off.
Well, but let me say it, and then you'll know why I would say it. Alan, did you notice on Sabbath when I came to sit next to you to eat on Sabbath, someone walked past us and they said to they said to Alan, oh, Alan, how you doing? How's your wife? Yeah. And I laugh because you know what? And I get that all the time. Now, I am a person, my name badge says, I don't do married men. I'm a very selfish person and I want my own man. I don't want to share anybody's man. And the moment he thinks he's community property, he's not my property because I don't share men. That's a rule that I've had and that's my full stop. So me sitting next to you, I'm not worried about me. Yeah. If you're worried about you, then you're worried about you. But what I notice is that as a single woman who people aren't, because not a lot of people know, people tell me that they don't know that I'm single.
Right.
Because I don't carry myself as a single person. So they don't get the vibe from me that I'm single because I don't know what it means, but they don't say I carry myself like I'm single. However, I have noticed stuff like that. And I notice it all the time. You go somewhere, so see their husband, they grab onto their husband a bit tighter. That comment that was made on Sabbath to me was just to give me the heads up that he's married and he has a wife. Now, I could know you from Trinidad. She had no idea. They had no idea in terms of what the connection was, wasn't, is, or should ever more shall be. However, felt the need to say it anyway. Now, as a single,
Can I make a point here? I'll make a point here. Here's the thing. Let's just dial this back a bit. All of us have grown up in the church, and there's always been these senior ladies in the church who have the benefit of thousands of years of experience between them. And they have applied pressure from the youngest age for both men and women for people pairing up in the church because they don't want them to go off and have physical relationships with each other outside of wedlock. So we've got that issue there. Furthermore, when we look at young people that are going away to university to study and coming back, we have an issue with young people coming back into the church. Some people go, some people don't go. There's going to be a disparity. And yes, we have not looked at it in any great detail or made any real inroads into how we level the playing field for everyone. That is the truth. And also, society dictates the way that men behave to a greater extent, and commitment and settling down and that sort of thing is not the first thing on their agenda. That leaves women, a lot of women in the church, without partners. Now, we also need to bear in mind that not every relationship is supposed to be. Not every woman is supposed to be with a man. Not every man is supposed to be with a woman. And people have their own lifestyles and their ways of going about things and doing things. I have some great friends who are not married. They're not settled down with anyone and they're just seemingly getting on with life. But I do take the point, though, that there is this huge disparity and the fact that we have not done anything as a church to rectify this particular problem. We do have sort of singles things and, you know, there's people on the fringe who are trying to do things. But you're right, Alan. As a family life department, singles have never really been at the forefront of the agenda.
Indeed. And the problem as well is that we also need to take away the so-called stigma from singleness as well. Because
yes,
Mark, the reason why I said that I'm qualified to speak is because I did the research for the play. So I know what the women are saying. Right? I took a beating, bro. Doing research for this play, I personally took a beating.
Yes.
When I'm hearing what the women them are saying about the men them in the church, myself included in that, I'm hearing what they're saying about the men in the church, bro. It's not good. Yeah. And these are
what is that when you said it's not good? Things like what when you said it's not good?
What I'm saying, the women are crying out for partners, right?
Oh, and the men are not good enough.
The men are not there, one, but the few that are there, this is what they're saying. They are not spiritual enough to be the priest of their home. One, they are not financially stable to be able to provide for them. And they're not emotionally available to make a good husband. Those were the three areas: finance, emotion, spiritual. Basically, that is an own goal.
And they're full of other issues as well. Therefore,
there are other reasons, other issues as well. Yeah.
Other issues, trauma.
Zero.
Yes, I'm gonna bring it up.
Trauma, yeah. Well, so the trauma.
Let me say the number, Alan. Let me say the number. 0745 964 2898. That's 0745 964 2898. Join the conversation on why didn't I get married and where we are. We're talking about, we got Alan Charles in, he's got his new play coming out, Why Didn't I Get Married? And we're talking about the beating that he took in doing the research and how.
Don't mock him.
Nice, don't mock. He's not mocking.
Did you for 1 second think I was mocking you, Alan?
No, not at all, not at all.
I don't understand. I don't understand. See, when Charlie gets any subject to do with this men-women thing, Charlie just gets on one. So
One of what?
One of them.
In case the listeners are getting the wrong idea, the play is called Why Didn't I Get Married? Now, man shortage is only one reason why women are not married. Man shortage.
Yeah.
Well, you gave us 3 good ones just now.
But we can also throw into the equation the other big one, which is some of the women them bucket list is unrealistic. That's why you're single.
Yeah, but okay. And which is where I was coming from earlier when I was saying, yes, I accept that there are men that fall into those categories, but it's not everything, because also there are some women that, I can even say across the board, it happens to men and women. But let's say, for example, there are some women that, you know, they're on 100 grand a year. They've got their degree and they've got their masters, and it's almost like a tick box. What their husband, he's gonna look like this, he's gonna dress like this, he's gonna drive this, he's gonna put me in a house like this, he's going to be the provider, the hunter provider. And when I met a guy and I said something about his girlfriend or did he like this particular girl? He says, Mark, you're out of touch. The first question they asked me is how much is in my bank account. So I said, what? He said, yeah, he says, you're out of date, mate. That's the first question. Once you start saying something to a girl and it's anything more than can you pass the ketchup, and it's like, and it's what are you gonna do later? She wants to know how much you got. And that wasn't my day, I'm telling you. Maybe it should have been, but it wasn't in my day. So I accept that. And that's why I was really wondering, so is it, I mean, the church can do something, but is it their responsibility to do it?
Yes, brother
Mark, what can the church do?
No, I'm not batting for what the church should do. I don't have a list of what they should do. So I'm just saying,
Okay, first things first. Why aren't men attracted to the church?
Why are or are not?
Are not.
Why aren't men flocking to the SDA church?
I don't know. Maybe they're the message that is being preached is not one that they find engaging. I don't know.
Okay. Let's go back here because I know we're not the same age, but we're from the same era, right? Back in the 80s, Brother Paul and
Yes.
Brother Sister Charlie, yeah?
Yes.
What was the ratio roughly of men to women? It wasn't 7-1.
It was not.
Right. So something in the last 30 years, 40 years has happened to the church, not just Adventists, the Black Caribbean church in the UK on a whole.
Well, even though
would you say that's any different to how society itself has changed?
Yeah.
I don't know about that, but I'm just speaking for the church.
Well, you see, society would inform the way that church has actually changed.
Yeah, but should we be informed by society?
No, I'm not saying that I'm saying that the behaviors in society has changed the way that people look or even engage with church.
So that means then society has creeped into the church then.
Yeah, well, yes.
Always.
So my point is this, what I'm trying to say here, what's the difference between the Adventist church between the 80s, 90s and today?
All the men have left to go and earn enough money to look after the women in the church.
Right? From my research,
they want 100 grand a year.
From my research, I have concluded this.
Yeah.
As the church became less traditional and more contemporary, the Black man left.
Well, is there? Would you in your research, was there an aspect of that actually helped them to turn away from the church?
Yeah, as I said, as the church became less traditional, less strict, less holy, more contemporary, the Black man left. And they went to Islam and Black Hebrews. So it's not religion that's the issue, because the Nation of Islam and Black Hebrews and man like Gino Jennings have no problem attracting Black men. But they're very radical. They're very patriarchal. And the church today has lost that patriarchal system now. The church has become very feminine. There's a lot of feminine energy in the church that the man can't relate to. And studies have shown that the way we do worship, the songs that we sing, is contributing to men not being able to relate or feel part of it. And
can I just?
Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
Sorry, there's some comments have come in. I just want to read. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure.
It's okay. We do it every week.
Right. So, good evening. Hi, Yvonne. Hello, the poor young boys in the church who are teaching them how to be mindful of growing up, understanding healthy relationships. The roles of gender are still rooted in old-fashioned views among senior members, maybe.
But that's
then
opposite to what Alan's saying.
As a man in the church, how do you encourage your non-church male friends to attend church functions?
Well, that's an odd. Well, the second point is what he's saying is that the church, you're not going to encourage them because they are moving off to other forms of spirituality and religion,
or not.
Well, no. The point that Alan made was that they are going off to Nation of Islam, Black Hebrews, Black Israelites, all that kind of thing. So they're not happy with the structure of church. But Alan, on the you're saying the church has become less patriarchal, but the fact that it was more patriarchal in the past, does that necessarily mean that was the right thing?
It doesn't mean that it's the right thing, but from a biblical perspective, the church is meant to be patriarchal. Yeah. But
from a biblical
yeah,
perspective, yes.
And another irony as well in the play and in the book Black Single Christian, the argument is 95% of the pastors and leaders are men, and 75% of the congregation are women. That make sense.
Yeah,
The matter
but Alan, that 95% hasn't changed for many years. It
That's what I'm
hasn't.
saying, bro. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So even though there are men at the top,
Yes,
the church is still girly. The church is still feminine.
yes.
There's still that feminine energy,
But
even though it's male at the top.
I want to introduce a point here, Alan and Mark and Charlie. How many people are, hand on heart, fully transparent? How many people are really happy to bring a friend, be they whatever persuasion, into the church with them? Are you happy with the way church is, that you can actually go to your male friend and say, come with me to my church?
Right. So Paul, you're answering your own questions.
No,
So
well, I'm putting it out there because it is a valid point. It's a valid point. I was having a discussion with another good friend, and I was saying, I'm not young anymore. I'm not one of these contemporary music church people. I actually quite like things a lot easier nowadays, and you'll find me on the request show on an ordinary Sabbath playing some of the old tunes from back in heritage days or whatever. And I find that church for me is more challenging if you speak to me and if you engage with me in a particular way. I can't do this jump up and shout and fling your hand up and all the rest of it. I can't do all of that. So if I'm going to bring someone here to reduce those numbers, let's just say, that has to be a place where I am so comfortable and happy to bring someone into that I know that I'm going to help to reduce that balance. Not necessarily for that purpose, but for them actually being a part of the body of Christ.
So the first step is for us to create an atmosphere where we can bring our non-Adventist, non-saved friends, and where they would feel the love of God.
Yes.
And feel the attraction to want to stay and come again.
But I mean, the point of making that particular point is that you can see where people have decided that they're not going to commit themselves to the church. I think you are right in the sense that they've become a lot of non-traditional people, and then you've got the independent women, that have changed the whole narrative, and the whole society has changed in the way that women have come to the forefront. So I'm not saying that that is a bad thing, so please don't get me wrong on that. But it's changed the whole dynamic now, and you do have more women committing themselves to the church, and I'm not sure if that is the fault of the church itself, or if that's just the way that society has changed.
Can I ask a question? We have 3 men in my presence. I'm physically looking at 3 men.
Yeah.
Can I ask how many of you men that are here can tell me that you've introduced another male friend of yours to a female?
Ever?
Yes. So how many of you have introduced, like, so you've got a male friend of yours, and you know a female friend of yours who's single, and I'm talking about 2 single people, and I'm trying to put them together.
I haven't done that.
Well, you see, no, I've never done it to try and put them together. I might have introduced them. If they come together, that's a natural course of events that happen.
Why you can't just answer the question?
Because
Okay,
I want to be sure that I want to be sure that I'm answering the right question. I've never tried to matchmake.
Let's Alan go.
So I have countless times tried to bring my single male friends and my single female friends together. Without success, I might add.
With matchmaking in mind?
Say again?
With matchmaking in mind?
Matchmaking, yeah, matchmaking, yeah, definitely.
I've never done that.
Yeah.
I've introduced them.
I've never done that.
Always doing it.
Why not? Can I find out why they haven't done it? And then I'm gonna go to you, Alan, in terms of why hasn't it worked? Yeah. So why haven't you done it, Mark, and why haven't you done it, Paul, before?
Because Alan did it never worked.
Stop it.
I can say
No.
I can say hand on heart. I can say hand on heart. I've never even thought about doing that.
Oh wow.
I've never seriously, hand on heart, I've never thought of introducing any males that I know to females within the church. It's never been suggested to me that that is something that I should do, and I've never considered it personally.
So Paul, so just as forget Christian, forget the church, just Paul having a male single friend and a female single friend that you think, oh, I mean, why don't you guys, I mean, hook up? Never?
No.
Oh wow.
Maybe a lot of that is me navigating me. Maybe a lot of that is me navigating me and how I get through life and the different things and the people that I interact with. Truth be told, I've got loads of friends, including female friends, that I could probably go out, have a lovely meal with, and have a great time, a purely platonic great time. They go to their home, I go to my home, and never the twain shall meet. But I've never considered actually grabbing one of my friends or something and say, hey, have you considered so and so? I just haven't done it, and I've never been encouraged to do that.
Is it as well because you're fearful that if it doesn't work out,
it is him?
I've never done it because I guess for me it's always been a matter of I will introduce somebody to someone. Let's say I'm at a gathering, I'm at a party, I'm at an event or a whatever. I would introduce, somebody says to me, hey, who's that girl? Or who's that guy? Oh, I know that person. I know them. Let me introduce you. I will introduce them, but I never ever do it with the thought of, and something may come out of it. I leave that for them. That I introduced many men to women and women to men, but I've never given it a thought as in what happens next or whatever. If they click, they click. If they don't, they don't.
So Charlie, because of the plays and seminars I do here, a lot of women always come to me and say to me, Alan, can you find me a man?
Yeah.
So at times it's forced upon me. Okay, see what I mean? But I do it. I try and do it all the time, but I don't think I've got a good success rate. But at least they will be able to come together, try thing, inner work, and move on.
Yeah, but there are so many dynamics in there, Alan, including the females themselves as well. You would think to yourself, I'm not sure if I would introduce her to one of my mates.
Yeah. First question. Let me see your back book.
Honestly, I'm saying that I'm not making that a derogatory comment. I'm making that an honest comment. That there are some males and some females that you would say, no way am I introducing them, male or female, to somebody else, because there are parts of their personality and traits that I actually found really, really poor.
But then you have to, so then that's I think that's some of the problem as well, because if you think about back in the day, and I have a comment here I need to read as well, that used to happen.
Yep.
The grandma would say to her friend, yes, I'll be looking at your grandson. When he's of age, bring him come for my granddaughter. You know, you had people in church who used to look out and say, yes,
Yeah.
someone up. But no one's looking out for anybody anymore. And
No.
I get it. Some people give you one face, and then when you're in a relationship with them, you get a different face. And there's people who recommend people and they don't know who they're recommending. Sorry, Alan.
Exactly. That's the point that I was making there, Charlie. You know, you actually do not know what goes on behind the facade of what that person actually shows you. So whether or not you'd want to expose your friends to that, and I'm talking about male and female, whether or not you want to expose your friends to that, I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
Okay. Alan?
Yeah, I was going to make the point that, as you said, back in the day, parents and grandparents used to be instrumental in trying to matchmake and set up people, right? But if you ask this generation under 35s, would you trust your parents to choose or recommend your partner? It's a blatant no.
Actually, my daughter said yes. I was quite shocked by that decision.
But most of them, no, 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 no. And I think it's because this thing about love and romance, yeah, has crept into it being the foundation of a marriage. Back in the day, love and romance was the furthest thing from marriage. It was two families coming together. It was security. Did Isaac have any say when Abraham sent his servant to get him a wife? Did he say, oh, I mightn't love her? No, he trusted his father's wisdom to get him a wife that would be good for him. And once they were bonded, then the love came. But today, we're all about, oh, I'm not in love. I mean, romance and all that stuff. Where
stuff, you know, that
if we
stuff.
look at if we look at the old time people, them, yeah, there was a different foundation, and then the love came. But now we're looking for the love, and once the love gone, everything gone too.
Yeah, there's so much to unpack in that. So much.
Well, we've got an hour and 10 minutes. Let's go. Unpack it.
So I think it says, Alan, what you said was very true. The church has a very feminine position as it with all its emotions. Where is the position for teaching a man to be a man? Men that are in church
That's what Yvonne said.
Do not have no. Is that Yvonne? Activities that encourage.
No, I said that's what she said a short while ago. About where are the teachers for the men, for the young boys?
Yes. Men that are in the church do not have activities that encourage men to come. It's all about outreach that is based on service, which is deemed a feminine thing. But what is aimed at the masculine men? Then she says, good response. No one is looking out for others. Sad but true. And then everyone comes and says, do arranged marriages work? Are they needed now for the church?
Well, Allah's point is that even if you arrange them, you still got too many women.
Yeah.
So you can arrange them, but you can have
whatever you want. Yeah, you still.
Well, if that redresses the balance, well, is that such a bad thing?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because the maths still going to match up. We need to bring more men in.
Right. So the question is then, how do I bring my mate or somebody that I know into the space that that I'm going to be in?
Well, I think the point that was made earlier, and I think it was Alan that made the point. The point was made earlier that the type of programming and the type of things that happen in our church are not necessarily male oriented. So when you bring, if you invite one there I mean, to be honest, I've only ever invited men to church if I knew that it was a specific program that would get them, that,
Yeah.
you know, as attract them, that they would find interesting. Never just on a willy-nilly, come one day, you know, I'm talking about non-Adventists.
Yes.
You know, and maybe that's because the programming, and I don't want to believe that it's because of you know, we've become less spiritual overall, or we've become less religious, or too, I don't know, socially minded. I don't believe it's that. But there is something about the structure. So maybe what we need to do, instead of just trying to get more men in, is think about what can we do about our structure that then in and of itself might attract more men. I think that might be the way forward.
Can I just say,
Go on.
I think what hasn't been acknowledged is when you bring in a man to the equation, I'm trying to think of what you know, like when you like, is it whatever that fish is, you know, you throw something in the water.
Yes,
And then
boy,
all,
amazing. Yeah.
and that's so you bring a man into the equation, and or you see him just about to be baptized, and you see someone's holding the towel, someone's going to
So we got to bring 6 men in. Don't bring one. Bring 6.
But the difficulty is there's so many women within our churches who do desire to be married, who do desire to have families, who do desire to not be the one sitting alone in church, wanting to have someone to hold a hymn book for them, and wanting a husband of their own.
And what are they doing about their own personality and character?
Don't get me started, Mark, yeah, because not everyone is doing something.
No, hold on.
About
Why are you and Alan talking such absolutes? I didn't say there's no one working on their character. I just said, what are they doing? That's all I said. I didn't say because none of them are looking after them. I never said that.
So Mark, Mark, the flip side, and I'm not gonna come onto your side now, yeah. Even though I said there are 6 women to 1 man, maybe 3 of those women are not marriage material.
Yeah, exactly. That's the point Paul made.
Yeah.
I'm saying so.
Then the problem is, out of our 1 man, he might not be.
One man
So
not be
there is a balance.
either.
There is a balance. So in the play, there's a balance. It's not just one way. We're looking at the whole picture.
Tell me a bit about your play. Is it a narrative, or is it almost like a docudrama, or do you reflect the case studies, or are we following the lives of a certain group of women, or what's the structure?
Okay. So the premise is this: a group of 7 women, has put a class action lawsuit against the church, citing
Lord have mercy,
trauma and emotional
I forgot to sell my ticket.
trauma because of the lack of men in the church. So this lack of men in the church and them wanting husband has created trauma and pain and misery and frustration.
And they're suing the church.
Suing the church. They said the church is responsible. Why? Because you told us, come into the Lord, become a Proverbs 31 wife, and your Boaz will come. Wait on the Lord, fast and pray, and just be patient, and he will come. But him not come.
Sorry, can I just say?
And hold on, he didn't come only because you didn't bring them in so that they can get a chance. So it's not a case of the men are there and not choosing them. The men are not there, full stop, and the few that are there are not qualified. So you, the church,
do they win their class action or not?
Well,
hold on.
Wouldn't that be
audience,
killing the story?
The audience is the jury, and the audience will decide whether or not the church.
Oh, but if there's 7 to 1 women in the audience,
So hold on. If there's 6 women out there
I like
like
that part.
church to court, Right, it's okay. 228, right?
Oh no, Charlie's giving out the number. Charlie's giving out the number. 0745 964 2898. Do you want to join Alan Charles's class action? And the women are taking the church to court for not providing men.
Suitable,
Oh,
suitable, and sufficient.
suitable men.
Suitable,
Sufficient and sufficient or proficient.
Sufficient, enough.
Oh, sufficient.
Yeah.
Sufficient.
Yeah.
No.
So now we see each character and the reason why they are not married, and they're saying, because of this reason, I blame the church. So, for example, Louise has been in the church all her life, is the typical good girl, done everything, big house, big car, but she can't find a man. There's also as well, Sister Charlie, the woman in the church who have 2 or 3 men in the friend zone. But you're claiming, but hold on. You got 2 or 3 men in the friend zone that desire you, but you're claiming there's no men in the church, right? That's okay. But when another sister tries to step to any of these men, you want tell me
drama.
Tell me a lie.
It's a lie.
I'm coming. Well, it's in London on the 26th of September. It's in Luton on the 21st of September. And I believe it's going to be in Birmingham before that.
Ealing on the 7th.
Ealing in London as well. Okay.
Yeah,
Quest is a beautiful theatre.
Yeah. 14th in Birmingham, 21st in Luton, September the 28th in Catford Broadway. On the 5th of October, we're in High Wycombe. On the 12th of October, we're back in Birmingham. Tickets 07476 909 871.
Wow, you know that by heart.
Have you got a Eventbrite or anything like that?
Right, each venue would have their own box office.
Their own one. Okay. All right. If you missed that number, then just text to our studio and say pass on the number for the play 0745 964 2898. I think it's going to be a blast, Alan. Come on.
Yeah, it's going to be put this way. If you are easily offended, I beg you, nobody come to the play.
I'm actually easily offended, but I'm coming.
Nobody come, because we are going to touch some toes.
But what will offend me?
Maybe some of our observations, some of our conclusions, and the way in which we present the facts. When as
long as what you present is factual, then
yeah.
Don't worry about people being offended.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Once you're not easily offended, but I would really suggest, I think every pastor, every leader in the church need to see this play, and I'm not just saying that because it's my play. Or if you don't want to see the play, invite us to come and do a seminar at your church, talking about some of the issues from the play.
And who comes? Is it the cast or is it?
Yeah, myself
another team,
and we do a few skits from the play, and then we talk about the play. But going back to, sorry, I got to give the hub again another mention there. We were supposed to do 3 skits and ask questions. We only managed to do 1 because the atmosphere was just it was wonderful. On Sabbath going at the hub, it was, oh my God, it was
it was electric. They went into it.
It was something else.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, so we do the play, and then we do the seminars where we come to your church, we do bits of the play, and we talk about the issues in a safe space. Because like I says,
hold on, Alan. You said safe space, but you just told me if I'm easily offended, I should avoid it.
Yeah, but it's still a safe
space. That doesn't
space.
Sound safe.
Yeah, it's a safe space. It's a safe, honest space where we can speak honestly and openly without judgment.
Ruth is saying, Isaac had to travel far to get his wife. I am encouraging our women to look further than the local area that is a worldwide church. You see, the thing about that is, so online dating's a new thing now.
Yeah, I've never been a fan of that. I'm afraid of it.
Yeah,
I'm afraid of it, and it might just be my age.
Why are you afraid of it?
I'm afraid of it. to me, I grew up in the era of, you meet someone, you talk to them, you get to know them, you exchange numbers, you talk again, blah, blah, blah. But just seeing a picture and deciding I'd like to, there's something about it just seems odd.
But
Yeah,
the same thing you said is the same thing is done. The only difference should be is, so the initial meeting point may not be at the park, at the theater, at a church. It will be online.
Yeah.
But what the hope is that you then extract from the online setting,
Yeah.
and then you start physically talking, FaceTiming, interacting with that person, and then meeting them.
Yeah,
So
it can work. Don't
really
get me
just a
wrong.
virtual meetup space.
But there's just something about it doesn't sit right with me. And I know that thousands and thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of millions have successfully found a partner that way or whatever. And it just might be my age. If I grew up in the digital age, maybe I would be more attuned to it. But there's something about meeting someone in whatever the setting might be. I don't know. I don't know. For me, it just never sat right with me, ever. But that's it. That's it. Do you have any of that in your show, Alan? Do you have any of that?
Online,
sort of online?
No, we don't deal with online thing, man. We deal with real thing, face to face. We don't deal with online thing,
Oh boy. Oh boy. Now, is it the same cast that's touring, or is it a different cast?
Because we have a Birmingham cast and we have a
London. That's the cast that's coming to Luton, isn't it? The Birmingham one.
Yeah, the Birmingham cast, yeah.
Yeah. Because originally I was gonna go and see it in Luton because that's where I live, and I was gonna go and see it in Luton, but then I heard a couple of people that's gonna be in it in London, so I thought I'd come and to see them in London, see how they get.
The Birmingham cast are very talented, so.
I dare say. I mean, yeah, I know you. I know
very,
if they're in your show, they'll know their way around the stage. But yeah, just maybe just to support and see some of the people that I've worked with in the past. One guy was in a musical of mine 27 years ago, and I saw him. He's in it. And I thought, good grief, he's still treading the board. Courtney.
Courtney is a general, man. Courtney's a
Courtney's in it.
Can I just say you've had a request to come to Chiswick? Chiswick are asking.
Do you know how long I've been asking to come, Chiswick? You know how long?
See, you gotta come on ARL, man.
Also Wolverhampton.
Whoa!
Actually, when Wolverhampton at Oxford Street on the 20th of September.
Okay, so 20th of September.
Performing the show or
the seminar on the 20th.
Okay, but then maybe out of that will come a show.
Yeah. We're looking for venues, but we're going to be in Birmingham at the Crescent on the 12th of October.
I love the Crescent.
Yeah, beautiful place.
I love the Crescent. Yeah. Great venue. In fact, I saw which one? Which one is it? Midlife Crisis. I saw Midlife Crisis at the Crescent. Yeah, brilliant venue. So do you think that there's do you offer solutions, or do you think that it's just a little bit of a cesspit that we can't really get our way out of it? Do you think there's a way out?
There are solutions, questions, solutions, problems, solutions, challenges, solutions.
And do you think that it's all on the church, or what can we do as individuals?
Right.
Because I'm still not sold that it's the church.
And without giving anything away.
Yeah, not necessarily about the plot now, but just generally on the issue.
So here's a joke here. A lot of people, especially people, because when we did the show in Trinidad, and we got pushback from the churches over there. How dare you come to us, and you're putting the church on trial, and they're blaming the church. A trial doesn't mean that we're blaming. Jesus was often accused of stuff, right? The Pharisees always accused him of stuff, right? So the accusations are the issue. The issue is, are you guilty? If you're not guilty, then you have no issue being questioned.
Right?
So
Yeah,
even though it says the place called is the title is Why Didn't I Get Married? It's not good for the man to be alone, but what about the black woman, the black church on trial?
Yeah.
Right? A lot of pushback because in how I put the church on trial. I'm not doing it. I told you a book was written by Christian singles saying that they're angry at the church. Right? That's church people, British church people, right?
Yeah.
Then a non-Christian man said that the church specifically and purposely keep black women single. I'm asking the question, is this true?
Yeah, I've got to say, I don't subscribe to Dr. Umar's view of looking at this. I think we've fallen into the fact that our evangelism certainly does not target men in particular, and I think society or the way that life is, it more appeals to women than it does to men. There are more women than men in the world, full stop. So I think our numbers are a consequence of how society is dictating. But I don't subscribe to the point that there's this deliberate ploy to get women in, to get their money and keep them in line. Yeah, no, I don't subscribe.
Paul, it may not be deliberate, yeah, but because it actually happens now and we are comfortable with it because we still benefit from the fact that it is a predominantly female church.
Who benefits?
The church benefits.
How? In what way?
Because the women are dedicating themselves to the church. The single women have more time for the church. That's the argument, more time and resources. But in any case, that's biblical. Paul says that when you're married, your time is for your husband and stuff. But when you're single, you got more time. So it's not anything strange. So it serves the church's purpose, yeah, that there are more women than men. So even though we're not doing it deliberately, we're still reaping the reward. So you might say, oh, I was never a slave owner. But if you're benefiting from the spoils of the robbery, then you are just as guilty.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I subscribe. Listen, a couple of comments that are coming. One particular says, you're talking about the church responsibility. We are the church, and so some Christians are proactive and go out and bring a man in. Then they say we are unequally yoked, although we are marrying men. Yeah. So what is it? What do you want this to look like? Do you want to fill your pews with men for the sake of filling it with men? Or are you looking for a particular type of man? And when they do bring them in, are you then saying, well, he didn't come from a good background or good stock, so you're unequally yoked and whatever? There are so many dynamics with this.
And Paul, I normally hear the argument every time we do a seminar. Oh, it's not the church's duty to bring men in, not just for marriage, blah, 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 blah. At the end of the day, I'll forget man shortage, forget the woman's struggle. Our duty as the church is to win souls for Christ.
Yes.
Both male and female. Agreed?
Yes. Agreed.
But if we see that we are not catching enough men, forget the woman them. Yeah.
Because they're going to come anyway.
Our duty is still to, how can we get more men into the church? Because obviously salvation is for everybody.
Yes.
So if our methodology is only bringing in women, then we have an issue. We have to be.
I agree with that.
I'm saying. So now when we bring more men in, and I'm talking about genuinely in, it will help to solve a problem that we have in the church.
Yeah. No, I agree. So what can we do? Because I mean, this has obviously been going on for a while. So what is it that we, I mean, one texter texted and said we are the church. So it's not just a matter of me going to my pastor and saying change your strategy. What do we as the church need to do in order to attract more men?
And that's why even the title of the church on trial is a play on words, right? Because as the guy says, we are the church. So Paul, what are you doing? I mean, Alan, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Mark, what are you doing? Because we are the church. So
Yes.
the church is not the four corners we go to every Sabbath between 9:30 and 1:30 on a Saturday. The church can be your yard on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yes. So what strategies do we need or can we put in place? That's a question.
Okay,
That's a genuine question.
So let's use a strategy that Jesus used. Befriend before you start to preach.
Yes.
Basic 101. Yeah?
Yeah.
Before
So
you start throwing Bible at people, befriend them, satisfy their needs. Jesus fed them before he read to them.
yeah. So but we're saying that we're doing that and getting the women. So we have to make more target. Sorry?
Yeah. We have to target the men. We have to target the men, have strategic plans. Yeah.
That's my question. What can we do?
Well, each one have to win one. We have to start with us as a man.
Or do it as individuals.
Yes, as an individual. Yeah, Alan,
Okay.
where is your man that you've brought in or that you're working with? Yeah, if each one literally bring one, half the problem is solved, rather than waiting on the evangelistic campaign. You know, so it's down to individual responsibilities as well of
Let's make sure.
how we share the gospel to our male friends, the barber shop, the gym, the football pitch, at work. Where do men gather? Are we there as a light? Are we there as salt? So that they can even see our light and inquire, hey boy, how comes you like this? How comes you like that? Are we meeting people where they are? Are we solving their needs before we start putting religion and doctrine on them?
But can we also remember there's not everybody we want bringing in either.
No, Jesus want everybody.
No.
What do you mean? What do you mean? I don't understand, sis. I don't understand. What do you mean it's not everybody you want in? I'm confused.
Some of some of the company some of our men keep are not the caliber of men we want bringing in.
No, but we need to bring them, and then that caliber can be raised. Because if they're not of a certain caliber that is appealing to you, Charlie, or a particular set of women, then that's because they have some some traits in them that are ungodly.
Right.
So if they come in and they learn about God, then you'll rough off those edges and make them. Yeah,
remember, Charlie, the church is a hospital. We're all sick, right? So a lot of us are saying, they're not ready, they're not qualified. And a lot of us have been in the church for 30, 40 years, and we still have our nasty, stinking ways in the church after 30 years. So bring them in, bring in all the fishes with their nasty stuff, and let us help to clean them up with the Holy Spirit and with God. We'd help to clean them up and make them better people in society.
Okay. So I've got a few more comments that have come in. Women seem to respond to the gospel as it presents in a more emotional way, and does not appeal to the masculine, particularly an analytical psyche. Women can be very restricted in many ways in the church, yet they are still there. So what do we have that the men appear to be lacking to be able to stay? And then
what do we have No, say that again.
What do we
What do we
have
have
the men
lacking?
appear to be lacking to be able to stay?
Okay,
Yeah.
so I would say women in general have a sisterhood. Agree? Inside us, there's always a sisterhood, girls for girls, women for men. I mean, we've got our little groups where we can help each other. Men don't really have that. Too tough. No, most men, because of ego or whatever, yeah, we're not really. So I think we need to foster an environment where men can be vulnerable amongst men, share with men, communicate with men, and have that brotherhood, that support system where I can talk to a brother about my shortcomings, about my failings, without judgment.
Okay.
Women tend to have that safe space and that support network that us men don't really, even if we have it, because of our nature, we not really want to, you know what I mean? Because man don't really like to feel like he's needy, you know. But we need to create a safe space where that can happen, where men can be men without being judged and without them feeling that if you show emotion that you're girly or you're not strong or you're weak or whatever.
So is that the general feeling around the church at the moment, that, or is that just a society thing, that if I show emotions or want to lean on my brother for support, that's a weak thing? Is that a society thing or a church thing?
So society states states that, and we need to break down those kind of I mean ideas. You know, I always use this as an example of how biblically and how we are today is so different where we talk about men's masculinity and being a man. The Bible talks about an occasion where the disciples them were eating or meeting, whatever, yeah, and it says that John was lying in Jesus's bosom. So he had his head in Jesus' chest. And I asked myself, imagine if we was in a board meeting or whatever, yeah, and Mark had his head in Pastor's chest. It wouldn't look good, and it wouldn't it wouldn't seem manly or masculine. But that's where we've gone in terms of trying to, yeah, we have misconstrued what masculinity is and what vulnerability is, and so that men are not willing to show emotions or be vulnerable because they're going to be seen as weak, sissy, girly.
But is that, but okay, so that's a, because we can't fix society. So that's society that has done that. So I would say that within the confines of society, what is it that I can do? Because, for example, I was working with the men last couple of years at my church in Balham, and you know, I put on a couple of Sunday programs just to get bonding type, to get us to bond things, talking about different things, got speakers in or whatever, and the turnout wasn't great. And one of the elders actually said to me, "Mark, maybe they just only want to come when it's dominoes. If you were going to play dominoes, they would come. So, or they just don't want to be organized into, oh, men, we've got this next week, Sunday or whatever. I've got a speaker coming down talking about knife crime, talking about being a mentor to the young boys or whatever, that sort of thing. So they were poorly attended. And that's what one of the elders actually said to me. He says, maybe we just don't want that.
So Mark, this is what I would do, yeah? Right? And that's where you have to think outside the box. Why can't you have the domino event and the knife crime person is there playing dominoes with you, and we're talking about knife crime and the issues while we're playing dominoes, not as an official somebody speaking from the pulpit. Yeah, let's have the debate and the discussion while we're playing dominoes or cards or pool or whatever. So we're still getting the message out because we're talking and we are we are connecting, but we are connecting over dominoes or over food or over pool or over football or whatever. So sometimes we have to think outside the box.
Well, it's certainly there's certainly a one solution, and I think that's not a bad thing to interact with people on a social level to be able to do that. And I suspect, really, in if Jesus was there in modern times, maybe he might have been at the domino table himself. But the reality remains that we have to find a way to engage with men in our church, not just for social activities, but for spiritual activities as well.
No, but Alan's point is a good one. He's saying that we've got
Yes,
to
I agree with it.
the non-spiritual, and once
Yeah.
they've made the connection.
But the problem we have is that we will then want to inscribe messages to young people on the inside of the domino box or try and slide it in somewhere, because we can't just play dominoes and not make it spiritualize it somehow. We have
Then
to, and
you
I
have to
think
tailor make it then, Charlie. You have to tailor make it.
What happened at my church would be, but Mark has been playing dominoes for 3 weeks now, full time.
No,
Full time. Somebody have a word with him.
but it makes, I mean, Charlie, as funny as that might sound, it actually makes sense to have a strategy, as Alan is suggesting, a strategy that actually does engage with people at that level. And so if it means inscribing it inside the domino box, then yes, so be it.
No, Paul, you know why I think we don't give the Holy Spirit enough credit for what he can do with all of that? Because what we don't realize is that we are the greatest witnesses.
Yeah.
So if you are genuinely looking after people, genuinely reaching out to people, you know, genuinely keeping in touch with people, when you've had a conversation with someone, following them up in the week, oh, how did the interview go? Or, you know, that's the type of things that get people really hooked to, and then they want to know you're so attentive. Is it because of Jesus? Oh my, I want to know that Jesus. And we don't spend enough time and put enough energy into realizing that's the greatest witness. I remember, I never forget one of the greatest rebukes I ever got was, I remember going to an event, and my friend had a friend that turned up there. Now, this girl came to the room and she knew my full government name. And I looked at her like, and I'm normally really good with a face. I may not remember your name or where you're from, but I remember your face. This girl knew my government name. And I was just like, I have not a clue who you are. I am so sorry. I don't know who you are. This girl then proceeds to tell me that she came to my church for 6 months. And the reason she stopped coming to church was because every single week, everybody treated her like she was a visitor. The fact that she even knew who I was, I felt shamed by it. And then you start to realize that that's not good. You know what I mean? That's not good that someone could know who you are because they've seen you. That means imagine going to the same place. Imagine going to work every day and your colleagues are saying, sorry, what's your name? Sorry, who are you? Oh, why are you here? Oh, are you new? And you're like, hold on, I've been coming here for the last 2 months every day, and no one has taken the time to get to know me. And I think that is so, so important. And then after people see your genuine character, you don't have to sell them Jesus. You don't have to give them anything else. They will inquire for themselves because they see him in you. And that's about the let your light so shine before men, that they will see your goodness and glorify God in heaven. They will go to God without even needing you in between there because they see the genuineness. Can I just read a few comments that have come in? I have to take this rebuke. Charles, don't be saying that. God changes, not us. Ooh, girl, she says, God wants all, but he expects all to change. Being in the church and being in God are two very different things. And I agree with that as well.
Yeah.
It's about meeting the need, befriending and trusting that God has a strategy. I agree with that too. We always think that we have to do X, Y, Z. We are not the Holy Spirit. Exactly. Come on, let's engage people without the agenda of adding to the church role, but genuinely trying to befriend people. And I believe that. It's just like everybody
Yeah,
wants to
yeah,
feed people and give them a steps to Christ. Just feed the people.
yeah. Can I just add on to the back of that, Charlie? Comments coming through on my messages as well. We are the church. The Holy Spirit has the job. Yeah, women can befriend a man, but not everyone is to marry. That's men and women. And maybe we need to cater for single people, not focus on matching people. And there are many single men in the church. And how many men on this program are married? How many? Yeah. I spoke with and God, I spoke with and God heard my prayer. My husband attends church. He supports me with my spiritual walk. He loves God, but he's actually baptized in the Pentecostal church.
Yeah, there's a whole different discussion to talk about different churches. Because when we're giving someone bringing someone to a knowledge of God, it should be a knowledge of God that we bring them to. So, and I think that there's 6-to-1 all over the churches, not just in our particular church. But yeah, I don't see anything wrong with that scenario of the lady that has her husband of another faith, because he loves the Lord, he supports her, they support each other, they're worshiping the Lord, they're walking together. That's fine. If anything must change, then it will. Go on.
It's fine to a point, Mark. It's fine to a point, but marriage is difficult as it is when you've got 90% stuff in common. When you start adding variables, I mean, them kind of variables now, it makes it a bit more challenging.
It can be, but there are, as you said, 90%. There can be so many different things in life that you have different from your spouse. It can be one is always late and one is always on time. There are so many different things. So I think if you're walking with the Lord and your partner is walking with the Lord, but they are of a different faith, but they both love the Lord. Remember, I'm not just saying like we've got the card. I've got a card saying I'm an Adventist, or I've got a card saying I was brought up in the Catholic Church or Anglican Church. But if you love the Lord and you're seeking to have his character, you're seeking to be like him. If you both are fighting for that, then I believe that you will meet. Because if you're both seeking to have his character, you'll find him.
Bro, again, we think that if two people love the Lord passionately, that means that they're going to make it. No,
hold on. Who said that, Alan? Sorry, I just need to know who said that so I can give them a slap.
No.
Who said that?
The way you were saying that if they both love the Lord passionately, then no. If marriage,
I was saying no. Finish the sentence. You said I was saying that if they both love the Lord, then what?
Then like that's it. It's cool. Everything is sweet. You're gonna run.
No, that means you checked out. You checked out. That's not what I said at all. You checked out. What I said is that there are so many different things that we can be at odds with. And I even gave the example of one person could always be on time and the other one is always late. I gave those kind of examples that we could love each other, but he always does this, he always whatever, and she always does that, whatever. So I said, but we still find that these people can find a way to be together, marriage, and live together happily. That doesn't mean every single day of their life will be blissful, but they live together happily. And I then said, so if I and my spouse both love the Lord passionately, and are seeking to have his character, and are seeking to have God's character, then the fact that I am of a different faith at this point, I think is fine, because if we find his character, we will find the truth faith. That's my point.
Can I read this comments? I've got two comments and it says, be not unequally yoked. If you are both strong in your religious beliefs, there will be conflict. If your religious beliefs are fundamentally different. Can I also say that an account of a lady who was married, she was Adventist and married to an Adventist, then circumstances changed. And then she remarried a non-Adventist. And she said she didn't understand how wonderful it was to be married to someone who is kind, because her new husband, she says, is kind. And her old husband was not kind. Now, I'm not making an excuse for anybody to marry or not marry or whatever not, but what I will say is that one of the biggest lies that we're told within churches, just because you marry the boy that's sitting in church, whose parents go to church and you go to church, that automatically makes you equally yoked. And actually, that's not true.
Amen. I agree. So two things. You can never despise a person's personal testimony.
No, agree.
Yeah.
Amen.
Right. So that aside, I appreciate the lady's testimony for what she said. God is gracious and graceful, and he says that the blessings falls on the righteous and the unrighteous. God has a perfect will. He also have a permitted will. And sometimes he even allow you to have your own will, and he may even bless you as well. But we cannot go against thus said the Lord, because a few examples of success have happened here outside of God's direction. So
Exactly.
yes,
we'll be going against us, saith the Lord, though, Alan. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, but you know,
there are people who are Christians marrying non-Christians who have got perfectly happy, successful marriages.
yeah.
Does that mean that it's God's will? You know,
Address the point that I made about seeking God's character. Address that point.
Right. So what I'm saying, seeking God's character, but yet you are an SDA and the other person is a Pentecostal or Catholic or Methodist, and you're both seeking God's will. That's beautiful, yeah.
God's character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
God's character. But you still have different fundamental beliefs that's gonna clash in reality. Simple stuff as raising the child. What church are we going to? Are we going to go to church on Saturday and on a Sunday?
Are we both seeking God's character then?
Sabbath
Or
keeping.
are we both trying to win an argument?
Sabbath keeping, bro. Sabbath keeping. Yeah. Our food that we eat. These are the liquor stuff that makes and breaks marriages.
But look, but Alan, look at the arguments we have within the Seventh-day Adventist Church about food.
Right. So I'm not saying it doesn't mean that because you're an Adventist as well that you're going to be equal. Because like I said, there were variants of Adventism. There were extremes of Adventism.
Yes.
So that's why you're best suited to find birds of the same feather.
And I think the same feather is that we're both seeking God's character, not that we're both in the same club. I would be much happier. I would be much happier to know that my son, who's not married, found a woman that was seeking God's character, seeking his character more than it was just a girl that was a baptized member of a particular
Indeed,
church.
obviously, and no one is saying differently. But why don't you prefer a girl who is seeking the Lord passionately, who's also an Adventist? that should be your genuine goal.
Because there's
Because
not enough.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Alan. She did.
That's a valid point.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. She did.
Alan, let me just say though.
Sorry, Paul.
Yeah.
Not to cut you.
Yeah.
I am not
You're
against.
cutting him. Don't say not to cut you. You're cutting him.
I'm not against interdenominational marriage because I'm actually part of one.
Right.
So don't feel that I am. I mean, so I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on, Paul.
Okay. Let me just say, and it's come up a few times in the program tonight. Not every man should be married. Not every woman should be married. Mark was talking about seeking the character of God. There are some people outside of our faith who have better character traits of God than people inside our faith. All right. And I do take your point, Alan, about marrying someone of the same faith and persuasion, because yes, it can lead to a much happier life, especially for the children. But I've often found, and you know, I'm not talking away my faith or anything, I've often found that there are some people, some men who don't even go to church, who treat their wife, who does go to church, with such dignity and respect that their marriage has survived and thrived. Whereas some people inside our faith are terrible.
Exactly.
And you know what? I'm not, like I said, I'm not talking down my faith at all, right? But it is a point, and it is the truth. And but Mark made a very valid and strong point about seeking God's character, and it's not an exclusive thing to people of my faith.
No, and that's why I wanted to make that point, because I want to make that point that it is more that is the most important thing for me. Not if the girl came home with my son, had a particular badge or a particular thing, because if she could have the badge and not be seeking, almost thinking like the badge means that I have the character of Christ. And I'm just saying, I would just and I would whoever he brought home, I wouldn't throw him out of the house. But what I'm saying is that my heart would be more warming to the one that you could see is really seeking the character of God than the one that just let's go to AY, let's go to and just doing that as that's just a personal thing for me.
You want someone who's genuine
Mm-hmm.
and authentic in whoever they are.
Yeah.
And that you can not only be vulnerable, but you can share that safety within each other as well. And Alan is right in terms of the more you have in common, the less it I mean, there's always going to be an argument, there's always going to be something, but the less things you have on your list to be like, well, at least we're not arguing about bringing in pork into the house. Or at least we don't need to be the same.
Yeah, I could be a vegetarian and you want to bring in lamb.
Listen,
we could have the same argument.
Mark.
Listen, there are people.
That is facts, Paul.
There are people.
That is facts.
Veggies versus the non-veggies.
Yeah, so Mark, you're correct. We can argue about anything, but the further we are away, is the worse it's going to be. Not so?
Yeah, yes. Agreed.
So then our comment is, and I think this is the home goal comment. It says, then we need to fix up within our faith. That is what needs to happen. This is the about eternity. God has given us instructions. Marry your own kind. And I think only you can define what your own kind is.
And that's what I was just going to wait for you to finish to say, that what your own kind is for you to define.
Another question, do they bring you closer or further to God?
And that's what I meant by the character. Seeking
You
his
understand?
character.
So
And that's what I meant by seeking.
is your union bringing you closer to God or further from God?
Yeah, and that's it. That's what I was trying to say by seeking his character. If me and you are seeking his character, then it will bring us closer. And as opposed to, yeah, we both got the same badge, we pay tithes to the same conference, but our relationship is not bringing us closer. Yeah, but yeah. So Alan,
Yes,
what
sir.
else can you tell me about why didn't I get married? Do any of them choose not to, or are they all victims of
Yeah.
circumstance?
Like I said, there are those who are happily contented being single because that's their calling and they've got that gift. There are those who were in an abusive relationship and divorced because of the abuse, but the church would not remarry them because the church says only for adultery and death can you remarry. So therefore,
So isn't we had a very interesting after dark last week. The fact that the church wouldn't remarry them. I've heard so many stories, at least a dozen of people that I have interacted with, that people, they weren't necessarily because of divorce, but they were about the unequal yoke thing. We can't marry you. The girl, or maybe even the guy, one of the partners or the parties go to the church. There's the person they want to marry is not a member. We can't marry you. If you give up your membership, then none of you go to the church. None of you are members. Then we can marry you in the church. And then after that, we can then spend the next year trying to get you to come back and be baptized. So that this is where it comes to me when I talk about his character, because who is that serving? The fact that it was said in the Bible that it should just be about whether you have adultery or somebody dies. What is it that Christ was trying to teach us with that? What was going on? What did he want us to understand? Because for me personally, I don't really see, for right or wrong, I don't really see the Bible as a rule book. I see it as a guidance to get me back to the character of Christ. What was Christ trying to teach us? What was going on that he was trying to address? And for the church to say, all right, Mark, I'm not going to marry you and Charlie because you're a member, she's not. But if you give up your membership, then none of you are members, and now I'm happy to marry you. I don't see that serves us well. I don't see that serves anybody well, really.
yeah, I mean, there is a lot of contradiction in our churches and in even how we even deal with these issues. Different pastors have different interpretations.
Yes.
Even though we're reading the same Bible, the same manual, the same spirit of prophecy. And that's what causes confusion and frustration in our churches. Because we see pastors marrying, divorcing, and remarrying. And yet in the same church, you've got members of the church who are told, oh, we can't marry you. So that's another reason why I'm not married. I'm not married because the church won't marry me. And because I want to be a member of the God's remnant church, and I don't want to be cast out, I'm going to remain.
Cast out by who? The members or God?
By the church. I'm speaking. I mean, come
yeah,
on.
No. But I'm agreeing with the sentiment because I don't want to be cast out.
But brother Mark, I remember once I went to a pastor and he said to me, a good friend of yourself actually, a pastor friend, and he says, Alan, what's bind on earth is bound in heaven. So basically what he was saying to me, whatever the church says here on earth is bound in heaven.
You say I know him?
Yes.
Well, you tell me after this call, text me, because I can tell it. Stop shaking your head at me. I can tell him that is so far
I
So
went
hold on,
through.
hold on. That is so far out of context. It is just wrong. It's a fabrication. That is not, when God talked about what is bound on earth is bound in heaven, had nothing to do with whether you married your girlfriend from the Pentecostal church down the road or not.
No,
So
he was saying if the church makes a
a
decision on
decision.
anything, right? If
So
the
when
church
the church,
A, if the church says
right,
A,
yeah.
then heaven binds that.
So okay, so if the church makes a decision that is against the character of God,
Hell,
are you saying that God has to bind it?
I think basically what he was alluding to is that maybe the church is, what's the word? The one,
Infallible.
yeah,
Infallible?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, exactly. And that is nonsense.
exactly.
Absolute nonsense.
Question, Alan, before I read the comment that's coming, but let me read the comment and then I'll say the question. The comment says, let every man seek out his own soul salvation. When the church is off course, stay with God. Amen. Thank you so much for that, sister.
Amen.
Your evaluation of, is it the 7-to-1 men and your percentages, does it include those who have same-sex interests as well?
What do you mean?
Yeah, it does.
So you know when you're saying you have 7 women who are single in the church and there's one man, let's say two of them are just happily single, and you were looking at the different characteristics.
Right. So yes, it does include
Yeah.
some women are not married because they are attracted to same sex and the church won't marry them, so they're upset at the church. Some men are single because they're gay, so that's why they're single.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that
And then
even
some people marry knowing that they
yes,
haven't got that.
exactly. As a cover up, And one of the pressures we have in the church is when a man reaches 25, 30, 31, and he stays single, we start to question his sexuality rather than thinking maybe he's waiting on the Lord, maybe he's not ready yet. So we're quick to force people into premature marriages based upon our preconceived idea of when a person should get married. So
Right.
yes,
Sounds like a lot of judgment
right,
there,
indeed.
because
Yeah.
it's quite the opposite with women. So if a man reaches a particular age, you say, well, something's wrong there. And if a woman reaches a bit, well, never mind, just pray over it. And, God is going to provide, that Boaz, same thing that you were saying, Alan. We're trying to make sense of something that we have no control over whatsoever. The only thing that we can do is put together a strategy. Mark put together a strategy for empowering more men to gravitate towards God, whether it's a social or a spiritual construct. Empowering more men, and similarly with women and how they engage with men and whatever. Yes, we are lacking. We are lacking on that, and really, we do talk about family life, but in reality, we're talking about married people.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, we have the tools. We have family life, we have men's ministry, we have social ministry, we have evangelism. These are all segments that can really take the bull by the horn and start making things happen. But I guess we're happy with the status quo, so we just fall into it and just roll with it and pretend. Yeah, so.
No, I was going to say, so we're going to have to go in a sec, but so just let us know, what cities are you going to be in, and say the number slowly.
Okay, so on the 7th of September, in 2 weeks' time, we're going to be at the Questers Theatre in Ealing.
Brilliant theatre, lovely.
Right. On the 14th, we're in Birmingham, but that's sold out. The 14th of September, we're in Birmingham, Old Rep.
Wow.
On the 14th. On the 21st, we're going to be in Luton Library Theatre in Luton. On the 28th, we are at Catford Broadway Theatre in Catford, London. On the 5th of October, we're going to be at the Old Town Hall, High Wycombe. And on the 12th of October, we're back in Birmingham at the Crescent Theatre. Tickets are from £20. Call the box office hotline 07476 909 871. 07476 909 871, or hit me up on Facebook. Yeah, so come along. Why did
You're on Instagram, Alan?
Nah,
Really?
I'm old school, man. I could start my Facebook. So
nothing wrong with that. Word of mouth.
I think I'm on Instagram, but I don't really deal with it too much.
Yeah.
But Facebook, I'm there. Or just call that number. That number is actually my number. Or you can contact any of the actual theatre themselves for information about the play. It's going to be inspiring, uplifting, serious issue, but it's very, 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 very funny. Very, 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 very funny. Trust me.
Okay, he says it's going to be very, very funny. Going by his track record and the stuff I've seen, I think I'm going to believe him. He says if I'm sensitive, I shouldn't come, but I'm going to go because I've got to see it. I've got to see it.
Yeah.
I've got to see. Even if, as jury member number 12, I've got to vote, man.
Husband, bring your wife your husband, comes as girls, come as boys, just come. Everybody needs to see this play.
Yeah. Oh no. You don't want to go with your wife because that could be a frosty ride home.
Don't do it.
Get her a ticket. Get her a ticket for Birmingham. You go and see it in London. Discuss it after.
Mark, you're making them unequally yoked, Mark.
There will be
listen, just a quick thing before we do go away. Alan, if I may ask, what's your takeaway from this?
From what?
This discussion.
My takeaway is that we need to talk more. We need to strategize more. We need to have more programs like this where we can talk about the issues, but we also need the leaders to be listening in so they can hear what's happening on the ground. Because a lot of time, because they're so up there, they're not hearing or seeing what's happening on the ground. So when we do the seminars and the pastors are there and they're hearing, it's like they almost hear it for the first time. And I'm surprised. I go and we do the seminars and people are saying to me, oh my gosh, I've never had a program like this where we have the space to talk about the issues. People are crying, people are suffering, people are in agony, and they need comfort. They need a listening ear, but not when I share my problem with you and next week I'm going to hear it on the pulpit as a sermon, or testimony. Safe spaces where we can talk openly, honestly, and address the issues to bring solutions to some of the problems that we're having in our churches.
Mark, what's your takeaway?
No, my takeaway is that, you see, I'm still not yet convinced that it is the role of the church, but it is certainly the role of the individuals in the church, as Alan says, right across the board. So I think my takeaway is make sure that I'm very intentional in my strategy to bring more people to the Lord, really. Bring more people to the Lord. So, because I think that will address the issues. That will address the issues.
If someone then says to you, Mark, as has been said in this program, we are the church. Does that change any of your thinking?
Well, no, because I'm agreeing with that. As you asked the question, you know, haven't we all had a chance where we could have invited a friend and never brought them because, what are they going to find when they get there?
Yes.
If we're all intentional about seeking the character of God, if we're all intentional about making the church a place that more men and those that are there will feel comfortable, empowered, emboldened, live right, and we should have more mentors, making those men stronger. Us older ones passing on our experience to them. So I agree that we shouldn't just leave it to. I was going to say Ted Wilson, but he's gone now. But leave it to the. I'm not saying we shouldn't leave it to the union and the conference and the TED and the GC. We should make ourselves much more. I don't want to be accessible. Yeah, not I wouldn't say attractive. That's not the word I wanted.
Yeah.
Accessible, that people will want to come align themselves with us and just to know God more.
Yeah, yeah. Amen. Amen. Shelley?
If you have a friend, introduce them to a friend and pray that the friendship blossoms into something beautiful.
Amen.
I think more people need to be making the introduction. More people need to be looking out for each other. I think we're a community, and let's continue to move like a community. Let's look out for each other.
Amen. All right.
All right.
My thoughts are drink water and mind your own business.
Alan, it's been brilliant. So I think, Alan, you're voting for the arts show, aren't you? That we come on and we talk about film, theatre, and all things. Yeah, we got too much music. Everything is music.
Yeah,
we need to talk
more
about
arts.
Yeah, man. Yeah, tell if you know anybody that runs the station, just tell them.
Okay.
No, I think it would be good. I think it's great. We could talk about different projects because we're always doing something.
There's so much happening in the arts, and the arts is a great tool to bring men into the church.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, we're out here. It's time. They've already closed the motorway on me. I'm gonna have to fly. Alan, it's been great. We'll talk again soon, yeah?
You guys appreciate that.
Yeah, and you'll see me on the 26th, God willing.
Okay, 28.
Oh, 2 days early.
Eager.
I'll be camped outside. Okay, 28. God willing. Take care, man.
Okay, bye.
Cheers, bye.